Hi, this is Shay of styledbyshay.com, and today I am going to show you how to create this awesome simple GIF in Photoshop, so stay tuned. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and create a new document in Photoshop, and since I'm going to use this for Instagram, I'm going to go ahead and click Create New. And I'm going to make sure that my template, or excuse me, my dimensions are 1080 by 1080 because that is typically the dimensions that I use when I went to promote something or post something on Instagram. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and go ahead and click Create. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new layer. And I'm going to go ahead and use the text tool, and I'm going to go ahead and use Ibrima as my font, and as the size I'm going to use 40 points. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is type in create. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and just center this, and that's about fine right there. Now the thing I want to do is when I want to put or create a clipping mask, what I'm going to do first is use the pattern that I want to use to make that clipping mask. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on File, Place Embedded, and I'm going to go ahead and choose the pattern that I want to use for this, and I'm going to go ahead and choose what I call the wildfire. Now I will leave a link in the description on how you can get this pattern, as well as also a link to the other ones that you can also get. So don't worry about that. You're going to be making some awesome GIFs in no time. So I'm going to go ahead and click on place. And it's just rendering up. And as you can see, it's completely filled out the whole entire graphic. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and confirm it. I'm not going to make any changes as in size or anything, and there's a reason for that, and I will get to that in a second. So then what I want to do is create a clipping mask, and I want the pattern to mask over the text. So what I'm going to do is right click on the wildfire layer and go ahead and click on create clipping mask, and as you can see, the pattern has now been masked into the text. You see that? Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is, the reason why I'm not going to size this is because in order to make the movement that I want, I'm going to just leave it as is. That way I have as much of the pattern possible to envelop into or engulf in the text. So I'm going to go ahead and start my frame animation. Now if you don't already have this up, the way you can find this is if you go to Window, Timeline, and click on the timeline, and then once you click on that, this will show up. Make sure that you're using the create frame animation, and if for some reason it does not show up, you can just always just hit down this arrow and just click on the create frame animation. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just click create, and as you see, it's gone ahead and created the first clip. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this one as is, because what I'm going to do is work from the top to the bottom, and by doing so I'm just going to keep bringing it up until I have no more of the pattern left. So I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this layer, and I'm going to go ahead and just move it up, and I want to make sure that I'm contrasting each time I make a new clip. So that looks good there. I'm going to duplicate again, move it up some more so I could get some more of that pretty bluish green in there. Duplicate again, and I'm just going to keep repeating this until I don't have any more of the pattern left. And as you see, I ran towards the end, so I'm going to just end it there. Now since I want to post this on Instagram for a video to put it onto my wall, or excuse me, my timeline, shall I say, you need at least 3 seconds for video format. I have run into the issue of not being able to load GIFs in Instagram, at least when it comes to the actual board. I believe you can do that through the Instagram stories, but just for posting purposes, I'm just gonna just do the MP4 or movie format. Okay, so obviously I'm gonna need 3 seconds, and I'm not at 3 seconds at all. I'm actually at 0 seconds. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and just select all of these. By doing that, I'm just gonna hit Shift and then click all. And then I'm gonna change this to 0.1 seconds. Now, obviously this is still not 3 seconds. So what I'm gonna do is just have the selection remaining, and I'm just gonna just hit the duplicate. And 3 seconds is equivalent to about 30 or so frames. So I'm just gonna stick with about 35. And as a GIF, it loops over and over. And obviously right now it's just at once. And I'll just show you what happens if I just use the once option. So once it completes the whole entire sequence, it stops. But for a GIF, I want it to go over, I want it to loop. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and choose forever. Now I'm gonna go ahead and click on that and play it and show you the difference, okay? And as you see, it's just looping and looping and looping every time. Once it ends from the last frame, it goes right back to the first frame, and it just keeps going and going. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop that. So we have our GIF. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to export this. Now for Instagram, like I said, I'm gonna export this first as a MP4 movie format, and then I will also show you how you can export it as a GIF, where you can use it on, you know, your Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and click File, and I'm gonna hit Export, and I'm going to render this video, or render the GIF. So it just depends on how long it will render. I am gonna speed it up actually when I hit the rendering process, but you just want to go ahead and name this. So what I'm gonna name this is Create 1, and I have it, my folder selected, and I'm gonna go ahead and just leave everything as is, and I'm just gonna go ahead and click render. Okay, so it's gone ahead and completed the render. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna see how it's ended up after the render. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my folder. And obviously I got a little bit impatient and a lot of these windows popped up. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the folder that I rendered it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and click play. And as you can see, that is the MP4 format. So it's looking pretty awesome. So now I'm gonna show you how to do the GIF format. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to File. I'm going to Export, and then this time save for Web Legacy. So I'm just gonna let that render up or show up. And the way you make sure that it's a GIF is in this section right here. And there's other options, but you just want to make sure that it's GIF. I'm going to leave everything as is. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And again, I'm just going to select or create 1 for this, and it's going to go in the same folder and save it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and let that load up. Okay, and then we're going to try it again. Like, I just like to go back, because if something doesn't work out, then I know that I can go back and make changes if needed. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, it's done the same thing. So that is how you can create a awesome, easy, simple GIF in Photoshop that you can use to promote your business, elevate your visuals, or just have fun and just do something unique and different. So with that, I want to thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for even more tutorials. Bye.